Patty's back.
Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard Streams for another edition, the Elimination Chamber review reaction show of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, who's here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo.
Hello.
How are we feeling? How are we doing?
We're feeling.
We're feeling feelings? Because I've been feeling feelings all night. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you stay in on a Saturday night. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. The WWE doing it once again. But other than that, how's your day going? We're gonna get to that. How's your day going?
Oh, fine. I just worked.
Hey, you work on Sundays? Well, we got combine stuff.
Yeah, but I wrote 5 articles today, but I don't think I wrote really anything about the combine. Not yet.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
you like working Sundays, you said?
Yes, because no one else is really working. So I like it because it helps me get ahead for the week. You know, like then I have articles that I can like put out throughout the week because I try to write stuff that's not super time sensitive. So that way I can like schedule it. And then I'm not staying up super late or working longer because I have to get stuff done, you know?
I got you. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
That's my Monday in a sense.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to move my schedule in the off season because then I have to move it again when the season starts. I'd rather just like and I work somewhere that is like so flexible. Like if I literally wanted to work Monday through Friday this week, I could do that and then work again Sunday through Thursday next week. Like it doesn't matter as long as I let them know. So,
but for you, it's more of a personal mental routine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, yeah, I could do whatever I wanted, but you want to stay regimented so you don't, screw yourself.
Well, and I'm
up.
sure
I love that.
You have that mentality of like when you're getting close to the end of the week, so you're working on Saturday and you're like, oh my God, it's finally my Friday, you know? Yeah. So it's like, that's how I feel on Wednesday. I'm like, oh my God, tomorrow's my Friday. And so it's like, it's really hard to change that. And I don't want to get used to that and then have to change my schedule again. It just is unnecessary, I feel.
It isn't. It isn't necessary because when it gets to Saturday at like 2:30,
you're like, all right.
When I was driving home, like, thank God, like, holy shit. It does take me a little bit to unwind my mind after work because it is a lot that you have to keep up there to make sure that everyone gets their product correctly. And also, it's been a long week and you just want to take a deep breath. It is nice. It is nice to do that, especially Saturdays. Don't want to fuck up your schedule in that regard. So I get it. Let's see. We got some peeps in the chat, Sara, for the Elimination Chamber reaction show. What's up, David's? I mean, basically, they formed their own version of the NWO.
Oh my gosh, Travis Scott.
I love it. I don't care. I love it.
He was beating the shit out of Cody, though.
He did get a lick or two in there, which I'm shocked for. Fightful did say that he has been training, though.
What I think is funny is just imagining Cody just like laying there and knowing, like getting actually punched and slapped, just probably being like, what the hell? As he's laying face down. Like, what is happening?
What is my life? Travis Scott is just beating the shit out of me. Sophia had no idea that Jade Cargill was going to return, and she, along with her boyfriend Alex Legg, were shocked. I didn't either. I was shocked at this. I loved this start to the show. It really, I mean, both chambers felt very important, but this really made the excitement for the women's chamber, for sure. Unhinged main event Fro. It was a great show. And Bernard, what's popping? Shout out to you. I did see your correct prediction in John Cena and being a heel and all that. So good shit, my dude. Yes, David, I am wearing a Mighty Ducks of Anaheim jersey, the official uniform and logo of Captain Nonsense, for your information. With that being said, there was a lot of nonsense that went fucking down last night, Sarah. I mean, before we obviously hop into the hottest topic, not only in the wrestling world, but in pop culture at the moment, the show itself got you excited for WrestleMania, where there's been a lot of talk and a lot of buzz about how it has not lived up to last year's build and whatnot. But the craziest shit went down last night. And yeah, Cena, that was great. And Jade coming back, cool. But just the entire show felt important.
See, I didn't feel that way. I don't mean to be a downer at all.
God.
I know.
Like this was how we were supposed to feel after Royal Rumble, and it made Elimination Chamber, like it made it seem important that we do have this PLE, whether it's Elimination Chamber, No Way Out, as the final stop on the road to WrestleMania.
So I proposed this question on purpose because I think a lot of people were coming for Triple H, and then
They were.
I think he even said in the press conference, like, are we excited about the build-up now?
He did make a joke about it. Yes, he did.
And I think that people are kind of overhyping the PLE because of how it ended. I feel like people are letting that overshadow the rest because I think that was super unpredictable. And I'm not saying that, we've talked about this so many times when we've talked about Raws, SmackDowns, PLEs, whatever. Like it's not always bad when something is predictable. It's not. But because we talk about this and we break things down and we kind of look for the clues and stuff, maybe that makes some things a little bit less fun because you feel like you can predict what's going to happen before other people do. And maybe that's why I just didn't enjoy it, because I just felt like the women's match was so predictable to me, especially after what happened with Jade and Naomi. And so to me, I enjoyed the match. Like, I think that the girls did a great job. I love what Liv Morgan did. And I'm so happy that Triple H specifically called her out and like praised her in the press conference, because I feel like people don't give her the rightful praise.
They don't give her the right praise.
I feel like you knew Bianca was going to win at that point. So that was why it was like, yeah, I'm watching because it's good, but it's like the ending, it's so predictable to me. You knew that Trishy and Tiffy were going to win. And then you knew that like Kevin and Sammy killed it. We're going to talk about it, but you kind of knew what was going to happen there. And like, we even talked about it. I was like, Randy Orton's going to get involved. It just happened later than I thought it would. I thought he would interfere or like make his presence known a little bit sooner. So I feel like, I don't know, for me, I just felt like, yes, the ending was shocking. I, first of all, did not think Cena was going to win. I did not think he was going to turn. So either. But shocked. I feel like that part, you can be like, okay, kudos Triple H. Like, I would like to believe that was planned for weeks and or months, and that wasn't just your like last second effort of trying to make Mania 41 like better. You know what I mean?
Because that was there's too much detail.
So I feel like if you take that out, there's not a lot I feel that makes me excited about the rest, because what's Roman Reigns doing? What's CM Punk doing? What's Seth Rollins doing? I'm not excited about Drew McIntyre facing Damian Priest. Like, but I'm saying like there are other things that you can't get excited for after the show because there's so many unknowns with like the top guys. And then when you do feel like, oh, like with Drew McIntyre, you know that he's probably going to face Damian. That makes me pissed off. So then I'm like, I'm excited about like Cody and Cena and Rock and like what's going to happen there. But that doesn't then make me more excited for everything else because that's not involved with everything else. You know what I mean?
I do, in a sense. Uh, um, I see it as it cleared up a lot of questions that we had with what people are doing at WrestleMania, especially for the women's. I don't know. I see, like,
Well,
it gave a lot of clarity to the, we're gonna Bianca. I mean, Jade, Naomi. That's gonna boil into something. Yeah, Bianca. We knew she was gonna win, but how she got there, I thought that was incredible. The storytelling there.
shout
It
out Liv.
told stories. Shout out to Liv Morgan.
Did you see
It
her
told
battle
stories.
wounds?
Oh, I saw them all. Holy
She
shit.
posted the picture today.
Yeah, the arms is what's crazy. Like, we during the match we saw her welt from Bianca's hair, but it was the bruises on the arms that she posted today that was crazy.
That's from when she was trying to protect her head from the cage. So when Bianca was swinging her,
oh yeah, when she was
protecting her head, and so it's like her elbows were hitting the chains over and over.
That's so tough.
She's a tough SOB, dude. She's been in 7 elimination chambers.
Yeah, like, people do not give her the respect and flowers she deserves at all, and we don't stand for it here on No Nights Off.
No, we don't. It's like Pretty Deadly hate. Like, get out of here right now.
We don't appreciate that either.
No.
And they killed it on SmackDown. They killed it on SmackDown with their interference.
I love them so much.
Getting good.
But anyway, go ahead.
back to my point though, but like, it told stories that we have not been seeing on their weekly programming recently. With the women's match, you have now Liv pinning Alexa, which that's obviously going to turn into something.
Well,
we have Roxanne and Bayley. But it'll lead to something, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. There'll be connections. You have Roxanne and Bayley furthering their feud, which will potentially be a WrestleMania match. Yes, you have Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. To me, I'm okay with it. Maybe just because I'm not the biggest Drew McIntyre super fan, but you have Logan Paul and how his role in that match I thought was fine. It was good. And then Seth and CM Punk, that's building to that. So a lot of questions that we had were almost answered, and it's getting you excited for WrestleMania, which for a while it feels like people were just like, yeah, this is going to happen. And I saw people saying they're going to skip Mania this year. Boo-hoo. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
I saw like that, hyperbolic reaction.
They're
lying.
All
right, guys, calm down.
They're
no
lying.
Shit. It's like,
but like, so, I mean, there are aspects of Mania that I'm definitely more excited about than I was like 2 weeks ago, obviously. But I think that people are jumping to conclusions too quickly just based off of what we saw at Elimination Chamber, because there are still a lot of questions coming out of the show that like you can't get excited about because they're questions. You don't have the answer. And there's a lot of people that are not on the card right now. So that's why it's like, you guys are happy about how, Cena turning and that and all of that. That's totally great, but that doesn't negate the like underwhelming factor of everything else, because like there are so many holes on the card right now that you can't get excited about the entire show. You're excited for night 2 main event. There you go. Like, there's a lot of other things that need to happen. So it's like, I'm glad that the show ended the way that it did, but I wasn't like overly thrilled with the rest of it, So I think that there's just, yes, we have a significant part of the show to look forward to. And that's great. Like, I think that this is like the best case scenario of what could be happening with Cody this year. Compared to the alternatives and who we thought might win the chamber. Like, this, I feel, is a lot more interesting and a lot more something that fans can get behind one way or the other. But the rest, I'm just like, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see if like we feel that way about everything else, because being excited about one match over the course of 2 days doesn't mean that the build up to Mania was good, No,
it actually means the opposite.
Yeah, so I think that we just need to give it time.
27. Yeah, that's WrestleMania 27 in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you take the honor, Sarah,
okay.
because I had no words during the entirety of this segment. I didn't. I still really don't. So take it away.
I think okay. You knew that something was going Rams. You knew something was going to happen the second that the card was shaken up, because if you follow dirt sheets, it had originally said that the Rock Cody segment was supposed to happen before the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match. So that was what I had talked about, where I was like, okay, maybe based on what Cody says is going to dictate what happens in the Elimination Chamber. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then it looks like it was just like a red herring, where they were just like, we want people to think this is how the card is going to go, but it's not, because the second we knew that it was going to be the main event, you knew that meant that something big was going to happen, which could have meant Cody is selling his soul or somebody else is. And it didn't necessarily have to be the winner of the chamber, because I think that's something that people assumed. And I'm like, no, that could be someone inserting themselves into the main event. Like, taking advantage of a connection to The Rock to get into the main event. So then when we see how it ends up being Punk and Cena at the end, first of all, so many people who didn't even watch in like 2012 were acting excited about this, and that irritated the shit out of me, because I'm like, guys, you were not even like alive, or you did not pay attention to the Summer of Punk. Stop romanticizing a time that you didn't watch, okay? That's me just being a old geriatric millennial. But I was shocked at how Cena won. First of all, the fact that he had Punk pass out, that shook me, because I was like, that is quite a way for Cena to win when he has not won a match like that in God knows how long. Not to mention with Punk.
And not to interrupt that, but after Seth curb stomps Punk, Cena was way too quick to grab Punk and put him in the SCF, which should have been getting the wheels turning in our minds that something eerie is going on, because John Cena does not just jump at an opportunity like that with interference. He's just as shocked as the rest of the peeps are. So that to me was like, oh shit, something's going on. And to pass out, that's it. Like, to pass,
that's huge. Well, for it to be and CM Punk of all people, you would expect that to be like a Logan Paul, a Damian Priest maybe, but not like a CM Punk, No. So that was huge. And then the moment afterwards, where you're like, okay, what's gonna happen, right? First of all, you hear Cody, which wasn't censored on Netflix or on Peacock.
Let's back up before that. Back up, because I want to know what you thought of the interaction beforehand when Cody comes down.
Corny.
And Cena. I mean, but like, to me, that was like, okay, expected. Like, I thought they were actually going to have words, though. Like, I thought we were going to get a little bit of the baby face versus baby face feel. It's like, I'm so excited to face. This is going to be an honor. I can't wait to cement my legacy. Like, all this. And we just didn't.
And we
should have known then.
Yeah.
But, and then, boom, you hear The Block is Hot by Lil Wayne. But before, actually, no, you don't. You see Travis Scott.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, first of all, you could say you should have known when Cena didn't leave, because like that segment had nothing to do with him. So we should have known then. We should have known that something fishy was up, because Cena didn't need to be there for whatever Cody's decision was. Correct. But he was. And obviously Cody gave us a great answer, and
go fuck yourself,
bro.
He said that. No, he dead ass said that.
When I tell you, we're gonna use wrestling lingo, I popped, bro.
I marked a little bit. I marked out. I'll probably say it.
Well, that was the first F-bomb, and it wasn't on Netflix for US viewers. Because it was incredible.
It was Peacock.
We did not think of all people to be the first one to drop an F-bomb would have been Cody Rhodes.
It's Cody fucking Rhodes.
Yeah, absolutely
like,
not. He would be at the bottom of the list. But I loved the way he said it, the way he emphasized it. Like, bro meant that.
Oh my God, it was awesome. It was
and
great.
Then the lead up after that, Cena giving him the hug, kicking him in the gazools.
Well, the when he hugs him, it was more. It felt like to me, like that's the thing that when he goes to hug him, it seems like great. You're on our side. Like let's have a great, clean WrestleMania Night 2 main event, and you see the look that Cena gives Rock, and it goes cold, just dark. Like
Look
there's
at my
lifeless eyes,
my actor
like
goat.
lifeless eyes. And The Rock does the slit of the throat, which he started, and then throws 2. I don't know what that means. Someone maybe can tell me in the comments. And then Cena backs up, goes and then kicks him in the balls. For anyone my peeps in here who watch Marvel, I was talking to my buddy about this, who not a wrestling fan like us anymore, but got back into it because of WrestleMania season. And he said that this felt like when they say Hail Hydra and it's like it activates the Winter Soldier. Like a machine goes off in his head. He just becomes a machine. That was the best, like, because it's spot on. He was a machine after that. Killing machine.
Yeah. So then while he's doing this beatdown, he uses the watch also.
I thought it was brass knucks.
So did I.
That was my old wrestler. I thought it was brass knucks, but the watch is another incredible detail.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was the watch until I think Tess or somebody in the post show said it. Like I didn't realize it because like you're so caught off guard with what is happening that it's like I don't know what's happening. I just see gold and it's around his fingers. Okay, like it's a brass.
Like you have no idea.
Yeah, and then obviously they take it far. They wipe his blood on the belt. So
that's Cody's soul that says Dusty's. That says Cody's soul, and it's the Dusty's passing date, which is God.
So I'm like, so I would say my reaction to all of this was, first of all, I was shocked that he won because that he was like the last person I thought was going to win. And I was so, and I was conflicted at first about him turning, and that was also something that I did not think was going to happen. I had even been telling people, I'm like, he's not turning heel, guys.
He said it on Chris Van Fleet that he wasn't going to turn.
I know.
Like, that's what it, like, come on.
So I just didn't think that they would ever pull the trigger now because he's literally been a babyface for over 20 years. Like, this is not something that I ever thought was going to happen, especially on his retirement tour. Especially when he did a bunch of Make-A-Wishes before the show.
That's insane. Like, holy shit.
The fact that they did it just to me proves we're in a different era. Because Cena must have wanted to do it. You know, I still think that it was an idea which you agree with that The Rock came up with. I don't think this was Cena politicking.
No, not at all. This was an idea that Cena had. Well, he said on Chris Van Fleet in an interview that they were going to, or had plans for him to turn heel back in 2013 or something, and that he has in the vault already a new theme, Fear My Name. He has boxer singlets, robes, all that. So it was ready to go. To me, this was knowledge The Rock had and an idea that The Rock had that they just combined and essentially made a peanut butter sandwich, you know.
Well, and I'm sure that they felt like now was the time to do it. Like if we're going to have him turn heel during his retirement tour, there's no better time than the Elimination Chamber and the lead up to Mania. I think now the question is he's going to be gone for a couple weeks because I think they said he's going to be on the Raw on the 17th, and like I think it's like 3 weeks in a row or something he's on Raw. Cody's supposed to be on multiple Raws in March as well, so there's definitely going to be
back to Africa. Cena's in Africa.
I know. Yeah, filming. So they're going to do it. I think it's almost good. It's okay that he's not going to be there on Monday. I think we kind of need to let this like sit for a bit.
Do we I want Cody there though.
Well,
if there's anyone to explain it, like if they're probably going to do some sort of video recap package, which fine, get it. There's other shit we have to promote in the road to WrestleMania, but we do need the first person to speak about this be Cody Rhodes. It can't be The Rock, or it can't be anyone from that side. It needs to be Cody explaining how he feels about the betrayal.
Let me see also, because Cody posted his schedule for March. No, he's not scheduled. So unless they change it, he's not scheduled for.
So we're gonna probably get a nice little recap.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's other things that we need to promote.
Yeah, I guess from now I'm just curious, like, how they're gonna go about this. Like, what is Cena gonna say? Are we gonna hear from Cena? Because there's also a heel-like thing where you don't have to talk, you don't have to explain anything.
He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with that. That's what he did in the press conference.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he did.
That's it.
It was, but again, this is why John Cena is the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT, because he takes everything, the whole 9 yards, and goes with it, runs with it. He could have went in there and done exactly what The Rock did and said, like, but in a heelish way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he did exactly what the opposite of John Cena would do, and that is be the worst, be the man who is not loyal, doesn't respect anyone. Definitely didn't respect anyone in that room by just taking the mic and dropping it and then leaving.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Africa,
new style.
Friends.
I'm off to Africa to shoot my movie. Like, we're getting Hollywood Cena, which, if there was a time to do it and do it correctly, this is it. Stars are aligning.
So I guess I would also ask, because I kind of have my theory on it. Bernard shared an interesting theory also. How long do you think Cena's going to be heel for? Because I don't see it being
I don't either.
long.
I see it. I saw it till SummerSlam. I think that's a good date.
That's something
because
Bernard said.
I also saw that too. So shout out Bernard. But no, I don't see it being the whole time, because that would, just be terrible. Just from an emotional standpoint. Two, it wouldn't make sense. Cena announced his retirement tour, so we know this is the last run of Cena. The point of a retirement tour is we don't want to know what is going to be in store. And the end is obviously going to be with him riding off in the sunset, with us clapping and cheering for him and giving him the best standing ovation. The issue with that is that you can't do that while he's a bad guy. And I mentioned before, he's a machine. He sold his soul. The story to carry a story along is that someone needs to save him. If you don't have your soul, you need someone to save you. And it's finding who that savior will be. Will it be Cody Rhodes? Will it be CM Punk, for God's sakes? Because at this point, the only other person who hates The Rock as much as Cody Rhodes right now is probably CM Punk. So that would be a great person to revive John Cena back into the light. So you need that. You can't go the whole time. I'm with you.
Do you think that August isn't too far? Like, that's not too long?
No, because of the dates that he has. It's not like he's usual John Cena part-timer where it's 1 month on, 3 months off. He has like 30-something dates out of 52 weeks in a year, and he's already used up at least 14 that he hasn't. So you have to look at the dates, and he's going to be involved in it. He doesn't have to wrestle all those dates. That's the point. It's dates that he's scheduled to be there. So you can have him not wrestle for a couple, but be there and do this type of thing, and then the back half work it. There's a lot of ways you can go around it where it's a perfect heel run where it was just for a split moment, because we all know that John Cena can't turn heel. However, the human element is that people do things that they're not proud of. Exhibit A is what John Cena is doing. So it makes the story better in the long run.
What did you think about my theory?
I did see that. I liked it.
I'll talk about
I
it.
read.
So
Yeah, I read it. It was I read it, but I can't remember it verbatim.
okay,
I'm sorry.
so my theory was because we've obviously seen it put Cody over. We saw him like raising his arm and kind of like passing the torch in a way, and he's only spoken highly of Cody, and vice versa. And obviously he's had his run-ins in the past with The Rock, and The Rock manipulating situations in his favor, blah blah blah. So seeing the situation unfold with The Rock being like, I want your soul, you need to make this decision, and knowing that the punishment from The Rock to Cody for saying no was probably going to be steep. My theory is we're only going to see a heel John Cena between now and Mania, whether that's like he reveals that he's like not really this bad guy at Mania or a little after. Almost like he stepped in to be the guy for The Rock in order to protect Cody because of who the alternative probably would have been. So maybe he doesn't win 17 at Mania. Maybe he's just doing this to protect Cody. I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting thing because like the easiest way for him to become a good guy again would to be like, oh yeah, I did this to help Cody. And I knew that the damage I would inflict upon him would be nothing compared to if it were Roman Reigns or if it were Jacob Fatu or something else. I don't know. Just a random thing that I came up with at the, right after the show.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I like that theory.
Yeah, we'll have to see, obviously, but anyway.
Alien technology saying Travis Scott was saging himself because of magic or voodoo mind control. They like the saging. I'm just pointing out that Travis Scott saging himself or like what the fuck? What was he fucking doing? I was dying at him saging. I don't know. It added to it to me. Whereas there was another comment I want to get to because what's his face? Will Chisholm, $5 dono. Thank you very much,
so
sir.
much.
The poster of Roxy and Travis Scott WWE put out before the show makes sense now. How could a great babyface Cody is that not be there, but Roxy there? I think that's what he was trying to say.
I know, like people are looking back at clues and being like, "Oh, we should have known." What is kind of crazy, right? Because we thought about scenario of what could be the lead up this year for Cody Rhodes, and we're like, okay, if this happens or if this happens, it's like, how could one person get such good storylines leading up to Mania like 2 years in a row? This is that though. Like, who would have imagined that last year he would have been, involved in winning back-to-back Royal Rumbles, having his match taken away from him from The Rock, then having the pivot and having The Rock turn heel for the first time in over 20 years, then having this incredible build-up, going to Mania, having The Undertaker, John Cena, Seth Rollins, all of these people involved in his match, winning the first championship, and a year later, he's involved in the Rock staying a heel, John Cena turning heel, and then that's going to be his lead up to Mania. Like, bro, that's insanity.
That's a hell of a 2 years.
It really is.
Hell of a 2 years. Wow. Like,
I only did it so he wouldn't turn into Roman. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I did it for The Rock.
I did it.
Like, I did it for Cody Rhodes.
I did it for Cody.
Yeah.
I did it for Cody Rhodes.
But I also thought this was funny, and I know it's kind of like unrelated. However, it is because there are people who believe that John Cena turning heel, that this somehow means that he for sure is winning at WrestleMania. I don't think that's the case. But if he does win at WrestleMania, that would be 17. And Ric Flair is already shaking in his boots because of WrestleMania not being that far away. And he made a post. I don't know if it was on his Twitter, his Facebook page. He is not wanting to see John Cena pass the 16-time champion record. And I think he's so ridiculous. Bro, how long have you had this record? And if anybody is going to pass it, it should be John Cena.
The only person who should be the only person who should have the most title reigns in WWE history is John Cena. I don't care who you are. John Cena is WWE. Ric Flair, go Tam Sand.
Well, and I feel like
get bent.
If we see John Cena retire and not get 17, there's always going to be that what if, and he'll never hear the end of one more match.
It's gonna be Christian all over again. From
it's
2011. I can't.
Yeah,
we
can't do that, and I feel like Ric Flair doesn't need to be in the record book for that anymore. Let's have a modern era wrestler hold that. Have it be John Cena. And it's possible that we get to a point where Charlotte joins him as the woman, so it's if that's his concern, it's I think that's misplaced. But also Ric Flair has a legacy beyond being a 16-time world champion. So, but it was also the way that he said it, where he was trying to put down how John Cena got 16 and how his path was so much harder. I'm you're also talking about 18 different promotions. That's what you're talking about. You did not win 16 titles in WWE. John Cena did.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference there, brother.
Massive difference.
Yeah. So I think he needs to just calm down and let him be a 17-time world champion. Thankfully, I don't think that, Triple H isn't going to sit there and be let me take Ric Flair's feelings into account. No.
No one is taking Ric Flair's feelings into account.
No. Yeah, we do not care. But let's also talk about this, which is the one of the biggest moments of the night. Also.
Oh my god! This started the show. I was shook when this happened. I was fired up.
So I was excited when we heard her music, and I'm okay, cool. But I'm still slightly disappointed that it was Naomi. I wanted to be Bianca so bad. And
it might still be.
It could. But when I was saying this at first, I was disappointed. People were being so mean online and being you're an idiot. All the clues were there. And I'm first of all, I felt like Naomi is just kind of the easy target to make into the bad one. But I also feel and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way because I love Naomi, Bianca turning heel is so much more fascinating than Naomi. And that was why I was a little bit bummed, because I'm Bianca is great. And I know that people aren't going to agree with me. I think she's just kind of boring. And the reason I think that is not because I don't think that she's a great wrestler, a great whatever, everything. She's great. But she's had literally no character difference from when she started to now. And I've been begging for her to turn heel for the past 2 years. And so I was really hoping that this was going to be that moment. And it felt like this was that moment. And so for them to take it with Naomi instead just kind of disappointed me. Even if the moment was great and Naomi didn't fight back, Jade completely dominated her.
No,
Bianca's crying in the corner, whatever. But I was
that's an understatement.
Wish it had been Bianca.
I still think it is. I still think it might be because I'm optimistic. However, putting that aside, this was one of the best starts to a PLE in a very long time.
And good for
Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill makes a return, looks very strong in her return, and you can tell that she has a different side to her, which you needed to see in this next run.
Considering they tried to unalive her, they had her a Criminal Minds episode.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So you have her come back with that attitude.
With a vengeance.
You have vengeance. You have her attack Naomi in the same corner that Bianca is in the pod. You said crying. That was crying
hysterics.
For help. Hysterics. I losing all bodily functions, and then to have her go through that, come back and win the match, that's great. Let's go back to that, the hysterics though, because before that, Naomi gives a look over that a lot of people are talking about, that it seems like Naomi was looking at her oh shit, hopefully she buys it, and hopefully she goes after Liv.
Because Liv was looking terrified too.
And that's the thing. And that's everyone. And pivoting to that, Liv looked terrifying because Liv was being blamed as the scapegoat for this,
Mm-hmm.
where everyone's saying that she did it, and Liv has to go up against Jade Cargill. She's terrified because there's no half no theory like a woman scorn.
Mm-hmm.
Jade Cargill is coming into the elimination chamber to unalive her.
Yeah.
She's terrified.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the human reaction. That was fantastic by Liv. And that's what made it so good, is that you thought Liv could have been like, I didn't do it. Like, I could have been like, stop. No, it's her. Like, she could have done, but she was so afraid. That's what took it to another level, that it was more genuine. It didn't seem like it was, watching a show. It was genuine reaction. And Bianca, like, it just seems like there's so much more to tell there. Like, there's so much to go there. It's going to, which that's what makes it so great. Like, there's so many different avenues this go down because of the look you saw. Jade just destroying Naomi.
You know what it could be?
She didn't say anything. What?
Maybe Bianca. Okay, so they're saying that Bianca, because Bianca was in a match when they found Jade, which people are being like, that means she wasn't in it. She wasn't involved because but that's not true, because they found her.
They found her. She wasn't getting attacked on the video footage. So she was attacked.
That's a huge detail that I think people are like overlooking, because like people are found injured well after, or unalived well after the lead up happened. You know what I'm saying? Also, it's let's say there's like another thing, right? If it was Naomi and Bianca that were both in it, maybe the reason that she went after Naomi is because she only saw Naomi. Like, the only memory she has is Naomi coming after her. Like, she didn't see Bianca. So in her mind, it was only Naomi. Because once you pass out, or once you're like on the ground trying to protect yourself or whatever, you're not looking up to be like, oh, who is it? Like, she probably saw Naomi and whatever. And so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that there's a twist there, because ultimately this still proves that Bianca is selfish AF, because she wanted to take out her tag team partner, who was going to be in the Women's Intercontinental Championship picture. Obviously she didn't win. I'm sorry, US title.
She saw it. Yeah, but she saw it.
And then she gets her way into the Elimination Chamber. So does her new tag team partner, but she sacrificed her tag team partner because she knew that Jade was going to come back at some point and want to go after them, or at least after Naomi. And that was a way to get Naomi out of the match real quick and then win it. And then she gets the championship match at WrestleMania. So I'm hoping that we can still like bring this back to like include Bianca, because otherwise I feel like this is such a huge missed opportunity. Whether we don't see any of it culminate until Mania, and maybe Jade realizes it and maybe costs Bianca the match or something, I don't know. But I want to see Bianca as a bad girl so bad.
I don't want to see Jade cost Bianca at WrestleMania. I want to see Bianca win and Jade and her have a standoff where Bianca has to admit that she had some involvement, and then that leads to a feud for the title. That's a great first feud to have, and also elevates Jade into being a legit top threat in the division.
And that's what we thought was going to be their Mania match. We thought that eventually that Jade was going to come back a lot sooner. Yeah. And reveal, it was Bianca, and that was going to be like Jade's first Mania match and Bianca's first match back as like a singles competitor. So it feels like that has to be the inevitable end. Like, they're gonna have to feud at some point. It feels like you can't not have that happen. So I'm hopeful, because like I said, nothing against Naomi, but I feel like the real story here is Jade and Bianca. Naomi is just kind of like the scapegoat right now. Like, she might have been involved in the story, but like it doesn't have the same impact, I feel, as it would have been with Bianca. And then I mean, we could talk about this, but we now know Bianca will face either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. But
Io.
I don't think it's going to be Io.
Not a shot. It's Rhea freaking Ripley.
Yeah.
Rhea bloody Ripley.
It then makes you wonder, where is Io though? Like, and this is okay. So this is the thing. like we kind of have talked about this. I think I kind of talked about it like last week or so. Thinking about the Mania card and who might be off of it, who was like on it last year. And like it's such a weird situation, I feel like, to think about, because when you're looking at the women's roster and like who's at the top and who you feel like deserves to be on the WrestleMania card, Io Sky is one of them. However, right now there's nothing that makes sense. Like if we're talking about right now after Elimination Chamber, there is nothing that makes sense to have Io at WrestleMania, right? Like on the card. So I don't know how they're going to have her lose to Rhea and then somehow build something up to get her on the card. It also is like, if we're really going to get Charlotte versus Tiffany, Rhea versus Bianca, potentially Jade versus Naomi, potentially Bailey versus Roxanne, I highly doubt that they would then add Io versus somebody else. Like they're not going to have 5 women's matches plus the women's tag titles, because you assume Liv and Raquel will defend the titles at Mania. There's no way.
That's how, you just answer your own question. That's how she gets in.
Oh, Io and Dakota.
Io and Dakota.
Oh, I guess that's right.
There you go.
Yeah, but I just mean like that's a lot of women's matches. I don't have faith in them doing that at all. So I guess
6. Okay, so 6 women's matches.
If they
over
had
2 days,
if they had Io in a one-on-one match, it would be 6. But I'm saying that's not happening. They would never do that.
But still 5. It's still a lot of women.
I'm still not confident that they'll do that either.
I disagree.
I don't know. I mean, you
over 2
are
days?
more optimistic than me. No, I don't.
It's only 2.5 a day.
I still
do 3 on night 1, 2 on night 2.
That is true. I forgot Liv. Yeah, Liv wasn't on the card, and that's the thing is like when we talk about it.
Liv wasn't on the card last year.
I know. So that's the thing that I think is a tricky thing to talk about, because I feel. And I know in some ways that I have like an old school brain, but it feels like you shouldn't be on the Mania card unless it makes sense or you earned it. And I'm not saying somebody like Io didn't earn it. I'm not saying that. But it has to make sense. You can't just add people to the card because it's like, oh, well, it like if Jey Uso wasn't facing Gunther right now, there's nothing for Jey Uso to do. Right. So it's like you can't just force him into a match because you want him to have a match at WrestleMania, because like those don't end up being good. And that's partially probably why him versus Jimmy wasn't great, because like they decided that like 2 weeks before Mania, they rushed it. And then there wasn't a lot of build up directly between the two of them. And so I feel like they have to be kind of picky and choosy when they're deciding who's going to be at Mania, even if it is two days. They don't want to do like more than 4 hours per show, because we're not trying to do like 12 hours of wrestling over the course of the weekend. So I hope that Io's on the card. Of course I do, but I also feel like it needs to make sense.
Then the easiest way for it to make sense is have her in the tag team title match with Dakota, because we need to continue. We still need Damage Control to be relevant, because Damage Control is a relevant piece.
Yeah.
To the show. Absolutely.
Yeah. See, like that's why it's like I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. I'm not positive. And it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it over the next however many years, because the women's roster is only getting better and more stacked. So they're going to have to inevitably include more women's matches, because in like 2 years, they're not going to like not have Julia, Stephanie Vacour, like Roxanne Perez, like whoever. They're not having them not on Mania. So they're going to have to figure it out. Moving on to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I'm saying this. I don't know if anyone else is saying it, but I would say that they have the potential to have match of the year so far.
It was
only
100%. Everything that went into that match was perfection, from the blacking out of the ads. Like there was no ad or sponsors on the barricades or the ring. They didn't even have the logos on the turnbuckles. The
lights were dimmed.
The lights were dimmed, so it gave that Indies feel, like an old ROH or PWG match. You had the ref not wearing a WWE official shirt. He was wearing just a black shirt with the gloves, you know, that expecting blood. Like every little detail that went into it was incredible. And
the
hats
barbed
off
wire
to,
chair.
oh my god, the barbed wire chair was the best. That was where I was like, all right, this is basically Kevin and Sammy taking everything they did from their Generico Steen feud in ROH and WWEing it.
Yeah.
Where
I
the
think
barbed wire was their like thumbtacks or crazy
yeah.
move that you can't see in WWE.
Yeah, this match like over delivered, I feel. This was a match that I knew was going to be good, but I wasn't like expecting that much, you know, just because it's like there's no title involved. They're clearly not going to have this match at Mania. So it was like, all right, this is going to come to an end. And I also thought Randy Orton is going to get involved in some way. So it was like, all right, how is that going to happen? Like I was just kind of waiting for that to happen. And obviously the match was so good, like from beginning to end. And part of that is because they are best friends and they have had so many matches together that chemistry is like palpable. So it's like they just knew what to do, when to do it. Like every little tiny detail was just good. When they got weapons, the way that they fell off the turnbuckle, the way they went through the table, just like every teeny tiny little
the fighting
thing
in the crowd,
yes,
you know,
it was
like they
just
did that very well where it didn't seem like it was an issue at all.
yeah, and it just was I think it's so filled with emotion too cuz like I when we kind of talked about it when we were when it became clear that they were going to be doing this match at Elimination Chamber, which we weren't exactly thrilled about. Because, dude, can you imagine if that match was at Mania?
Oh my god!
Oh my god, a Mania
Incredible.
classic that they kind of just missed out on. But we so we weren't excited about that, and you know, you're kind of like, okay, how far are they going to take it? Because we've seen this match so many times. They've even done it quite a few times in WWE. This was different than any other time that they face each other on the main roster or in NXT. And I feel like that's what we needed because there were people that were complaining, being like, oh my God, here we go again. Like, I don't want to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn again. This is the 80th time. And it's like, I would watch that every single day because it was that good. So I don't know. I was content with it. And I you could almost argue that was like the match of the night, actually. Like taking out the moment of Cody turning, this was the best match of the night, I would say.
Oh, easily. It had everything. And it felt you mean it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And I love Kevin Owens so much. The man does not get his flowers. He goes so under the radar because of how great of a job he does. That
because
when you're doing such a good job,
from him.
exactly, it just becomes expected. Where he's working on another level right now, like everyone else is.
Yeah,
but it's flying so under the radar because of what he's doing. Like, I mean, everything in that match, it didn't feel like he was going too over the top, you know, and it didn't feel
it all had meaning.
It all had meaning. There was all little details, like the end of the match where the finish was just him power bombing him off the ring. That's a fantastic callback to how in WWE, his first turn on him went. And that was the end. Like,
I remember that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he power bombed him on the side of the ring, right? On the apron.
Right after he won the NXT championship. Like, that's the storytelling there. Like, he's an absolute menace, fiend, lunatic. Like, that's why Kevin Owens is the best.
And that's why I was saying, like, if they keep this going, it is definitely possible that this is a run that I would say rivals what Drew McIntyre did in 2024.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there's a lot of potential for this to be the year of Kevin Owens, as long as they keep this going. And now that we know that him versus Sammy is not happening at Mania, we now know that it is going to be Randy Orton who came back. And I kind of loved that he came back after the match because the interference, I think, that's what I thought was going to happen. And I'm sure a lot of people thought that was going to happen. Those are great, but it does become old. And that also doesn't put like a lid on the Sammy Kevin stuff, because like if he interfered and ended the match basically because he interfered or he helped Kevin or helped Sammy, that doesn't sit well with Kevin. Or if Sammy lost because of the interference, Sammy's going to be pissed. So I feel like it
just overcomplicates it.
Yeah, so it's easier for Randy to come out and be like, remember me? Like, remember the other dude that you tried to ruin? And then Kevin being so emotional about like what he just did to Sammy, and now he's like staring at another ghost, because it's like, I thought I ended you. And Randy not getting to touch Kevin was also pretty great. Like, he just gets to RKO a bunch of the fake
the security guards. And then the tease of he was bringing back the punt.
Oh my God.
What did you think? So, okay, what did you think of him not punting?
They're saving it.
Yes.
I think they're saving it.
Perfect. I love it.
Because, like,
need to.
That was like peak bald Randy Orton. For everybody who did not watch wrestling in like 08, 09, that was bald Randy Orton is literally
he's up there with Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger.
I was just gonna say, like a horror movie villain. Like
he's.
I will never forget him breaking into Triple H's house. I'll never forget him handcuffing Triple H to the ring rope and kissing Stephanie when she's passed out. Like, they went ham with him. He was an absolute menace. And the punt was his thing. Yeah, he really was. Like, it's kind of like, I understand that he doesn't like it, and I'm not trying to say it to be anything disrespectful, but like Kurt in TNA, like you know exactly what you're talking about when you say like Kurt, or you talk about like Kurt Angle in TNA. It's the same thing when you say like bald Randy Orton. Immediately you go back to like when that was, what he was doing, and the punt, like I said, like that was his thing. So I feel like if they're going to bring it back, which I assume they're not going to bring it back like full time, I like that this is when that they'll be like, yeah, okay, you can do it, because it feels like Kevin Owens is at that level where he is like a super villain, because he took out Randy Orton and put him on the shelf for however many months. He just tried to, and then I guess it depends on what happens now with Sami Zayn. So like, why wouldn't Randy do that? Like, that's his most devastating move. The way that Kevin was using the pile driver as his most devastating move. So I feel like, as much as I wish that we had seen it, I'm glad that it's like, okay, it's probably going to happen at at Mania.
Yeah, I'm happy that we're going to see this at Mania, because now it feels like a Mania-worthy match for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm bummed that we're not, like, it's possible that we could have seen this match between Kevin Owens and Sammy at Mania instead of at Elimination Chamber. But I mean, I'm not upset about like, Randy versus Kevin. Like, that's going to be a great match too. It's just more about like, what is Sammy doing? That we'll figure it out. And of course, there's rumors about him facing Karrion Kross, which I'm still not into, but we'll have to see, because they might also want Sammy to be on the shelf for a while to at least like sell what Kevin did. So we're not going to probably find out what he's going to be doing at Mania anytime soon. At least that's my guess.
Karrion Kross.
Yeah, that's probably what
that's my hope. That's my hope.
Yes, Trainer Red, you need to watch Kevin versus Sammy. It was really good.
Also watch their ROH feuds. Seriously, like that. If you want to waste some time
I would agree.
Holy shit.
Bald Randy was probably the last real over the top heel. I kind of agree. I feel like that was because it was like the sweet spot between like
Punk.
The late 2000s, like early 2010s, where it was like people were still booing people for just being evil people, and now it's kind of like, oh, I need to actually hate you to boo you. It's like, oh, I hate Dominic Mysterio because he's just like slimy and annoying, and he went up against
that's
his
not
dad.
The same.
Or I hate Logan Paul because he's such a shitty person. It's like, that's not the same as like legitimately hating Randy Orton. It's not the same. like I am a huge Randy Orton fan. I wasn't at first. I probably started becoming a fan not long. Oh, Legacy. So
I
Legacy.
love Randy Orton.
I
Always
see. I
love
thought he
Randy
was so
Orton.
gross at the beginning
Oh,
because
I
he was
thought he was
so arrogant and
awesome.
whatever. My sister was obsessed with him too. And then I think
Oh, he's the
you won't.
man. I
Maybe
love
you don't.
Legend Killer.
Maybe
I
you
love
don't.
Legend Killer Randy Orton.
Maybe you don't know because your siblings are so much older. But like when your sibling chooses somebody that they like you purposely feel like you need to choose somebody else. So like when we when we were super into the Backstreet Boys or something, right? My sister was like, "Oh, I love Nick." And so then to me, I'm like, "Okay, I can't choose Nick, because my sister loves Nick. I have to choose somebody else." So I choose somebody else. So it kind of felt like that too with like she loved Randy Orton. And so it's like, "No, I don't love Randy Orton. I love John Cena," And so it was like that was how it went. So it took me a while.
Only comparison I can make to that was my brother says he hates Katy Perry, but I love Katy Perry's music. Like, it's guilty pleasure songs.
2020
so like maybe
and to current era, Katy Perry is pretty gross. But anyway,
I'm more thinking like California Girls,
no, I know.
Dark Horse.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying
I Kissed a
2020 to
Girl
now.
and liked it.
Yeah.
Those songs slap. I Kissed a Girl and liked it.
Oh, okay, that's good. Just for clarity, I don't know. Anyway, so one of the biggest questions that comes out of Dylan is like, what?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Bitches have their
He's also in his 40s, so you have to remember, like, Pat's siblings are a lot older than him, so that's not the demographic that Katy Perry is.
Yeah, it's not like they're 4 years older than me. Like, no, they were in high school and I was popping out the womb. So
yes, yeah. So even if we're talking about like 15 years ago, like 30-year-old, close to 30-year-old men were not the ones that were buying Katy Perry music.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Anyway, so Drew McIntyre started the Elimination Chamber and quickly got eliminated
on a
via roll up by Damian Priest. Okay. Who did his finest Undertaker impression in the match when he was walking the ropes.
That was like Undertaker if he spent some time in Mexico. That Hurricane Rana old school, incredible.
So incredible. I actually went to the bathroom during the match. Why? And that's when Drew got eliminated. My sister is screaming at me
to the bathroom.
I had to pee, bro. So she's like yelling at me from the living room saying I'm gonna be so mad. I was like, what happened? I had to say it like 3 times. And she's like, Drew just got eliminated. And I was like, oh my God. And then she was like, by some bullshit roll up. And I was like, oh my God, what are they doing? And so I had my hopes up a little bit because they were definitely having Drew target Cena. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, we're going to get Drew versus Cena at Mania. Like, I didn't love it, but I was like, I mean, I like that, Drew is going to get
facing the top guy.
Yeah.
He's the top guy.
I can't be mad at that. Like, it's not my ideal scenario, but it's still like, whatever. And it seemed like that they were going to back off of him facing Priest, which they still can. But the fact that they had him eliminated by Damian Priest at the Royal Rumble, they then had him eliminated from the Elimination Chamber by Damian Priest. It feels like everything is leading up to this. Not to mention, Damian cashed in on Drew last year at WrestleMania 40.
He did. He did. Holy shit! Yeah, I forgot. That was yeah. After 5 minutes and 34 seconds of a title reign.
No, wrong. 5 minutes and 46 seconds.
They said 34.
But they're wrong. Chamber. It's 5 minutes and 46 seconds.
That's what I've been saying. Okay. All right. Whatever.
They're wrong.
Mandela effect. You know what?
So rude.
It is. I'm sorry.
They're trying to shorten his reign. That's so incredibly rude. So the thing is on one hand, Drew, if he's going to face Damian Priest at WrestleMania, cool. I'm happy he has a match at WrestleMania, right? The other thing is the biggest factor for why I'm not happy about this is I feel like Drew deserves a better opponent than Damian Priest.
You're wrong.
Yeah, no, because this is the thing, and I know that people are not going to be happy about me saying this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say it. When Damian came out, the first thing that I heard in my mind was, and the crowd goes mild, because there was no fucking reaction. Not a peep. The Toronto crowd sucked. I will give him that. They were awful.
Yeah, I haven't even mentioned what they did before the show even started.
It was awful. Okay, the crowd was terrible. They did not deserve Elimination Chamber. Okay, they did not deserve it. However, Damian just doesn't, like, the second that they separated him from Rhea, it was over. It's like it's kind of like people were so over the Judgment Day, and people were like, oh, Liv gets no reaction, which is a lie, but like, she gets no reaction now that she's not against Rhea. No, the biggest loser from that is Damian Priest, because he's got like nothing without Rhea, unfortunately. So I just feel like they're going to have to really work on this story to like get people to be invested, because right now, how do you care about Drew versus Damian?
I don't really.
That's what I'm like.
My view on it is that there's just some matches at WrestleMania that are going to be, big man versus big man, or they're going to have more of just like it's wrestlers physique type of like that type of thing. Yeah, like Warrior versus the Beast or something. I don't know. Like,
no, they can't be the Beast. That's Brock versus.
All right, whatever. Like, this
how
is
about
just
we
gonna be
say
a very
the Fundertaker, the faux taker.
The Fundertaker.
I say the Fundertaker like he's the fake Undertaker. I was trying to think of like faux Cara, because when it wasn't the real Sin Cara, I called him faux Cara.
Oh yes,
yes, he's the fake Sin Cara.
I think this match is gonna slap.
Anyways. I'm not saying that the match is gonna necessarily be bad. I don't know. I had higher hopes for what Drew McIntyre's match would be at WrestleMania 41.
To me, this seems like a match that Damian Priest needs to have to elevate himself, type of thing. Like, and Drew is on the giving side of things.
I mean, I guess that's an okay way to look at it, because it's like, all right, I believe that Drew deserves, because to me, Drew is still at that point in his career where he should be earning things, not giving things. You know what I mean? And I guess maybe the best way to look at it is like, it's like a tug of war. Like, you sometimes have to give and you sometimes have to take.
Oh yeah.
And this is just the moment where, okay, Drew has to take, or give. I'm sorry. I guess I just hate the way that they've built this up, because I'm confused about what they're trying to do with him, with all these roll up wins and like stupid losses. Like, it's just kind of confusing. I just hope that maybe this will inevitably lead to something good for Drew, because I feel like he had such a good 2024 that he deserves to be rewarded for that, because he lost the feud. So I would like to think that they'll actually give him like a proper title run eventually, because obviously he didn't get one from WrestleMania 40. So I would like to see that at some point. And some people have said maybe at SummerSlam he'll beat Cody or beat Cena or whoever. Which that would be pretty cool. Like that, then I would be looking back at, this moment of me right here and being like, you're a dumb bitch. That's what I would be like thinking to myself. So, I was hoping that would get a little more of a laugh, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Why do we have fake Dave Meltzer in here? If Priest has no plans for booking wise, I think he could be used as a member for Cena corporate, whatever that stable.
No, I see more his opponent being a better fit than Priest, or a guy like Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't hate that idea. I think what they're going to be trying to do though is they're going to want to have Priest be his own guy, because he was with the Judgment Day for so long. They kind of want to establish him as a singles guy. I mean, like we were just saying that he just broke free from Rhea. So they're going to want to establish him. Yeah, they're going to want to establish him as his own guy. So putting him in a group again, like so quickly, I don't think they're going to do that. It depends though, because if it doesn't work, like if it doesn't work with him, they'll probably try and put him with somebody in hopes that like it'll help whatever they're trying to do. Like that's what they always do with guys that they're like, we don't want you to leave, or we don't want you to flounder. We're going to do everything we can to make sure it works. yeah, Dylan says that he knew that I was pissed, but he loves Damian, so
there you go, Dylan. Like your peeps.
I agree. I think we need to see this at some point, which I guess makes it ideal for Cena to win 17 at Mania. But I don't know if I love that because I want people to celebrate Cena winning. I don't want them booing him.
Yeah.
You know, and he said it was only mild for Damian because he wasn't there. Trainer Red says Drew has been doing some of his best work, and I feel like he never gets rewarded. That's how I feel. So that's why I'm trying to be like, okay, I'd like to think that there are big plans in the works. And that was kind of why I was hoping for him to win the Elimination Chamber and that he would be the guy to partner up with The Rock. Because that felt like a huge moment for him.
Yeah. That's why I see he could be a third guy in this.
And it's definitely possible now that he's on SmackDown. But we'll have to see. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say like that's what they should have done given what we know now. But I guess if the John Cena heel run doesn't go the way that we are all thinking it will or hope it does, then maybe we'll come back and be like, yeah, it should have been Drew, you know? Because I would say, I'm going to argue that there are definitely question marks about how well this Cena heel run is going to go because we don't know yet how the fans are going to perceive him. They might not want to boo him. So if they don't, then that's going to dictate a lot. They might have to shift away from it.
No say. Yeah, we'll have to see.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Before we wrap up here, Sarah,
because
I still have my notepad on here from Thursday, and I didn't rip it off and go over to the new page. I still have our predictions here because I wrote them down.
Oh yeah, I think I got 3 out of 5.
We tied. Okay. We tied for 3 out of 5. The only difference was your third win was Tiffy and Trishy. I said Nia because of interference, and fandom. I wanted that Trish heel turn, but not in Toronto. Not in Toronto.
Not in front of our children either.
No,
they pointed that out too.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was happening. So that's why fandom. And then I said KO was gonna win, and you said Sammy. I did have KO winning. So 3 out of 5, not bad. Not bad.
Which I mean, I root to be right. But I also like can't be mad about being wrong unless it's a match that it's like, okay, this was a layup. Like, what did you do? You know?
No, I like being wrong in the wrestling world. A majority of the time because when I'm wrong, that means I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And they are doing their job a lot better than I am from the comfort of my couch.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's only a few times where I'm like, oh my God, why? But this was a week where I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here. And Kevin and Sammy could have gone either way. So it was like, we knew the men's elimination chamber was the one that was going to be like, all right, we have no fucking idea, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say we can get to the last few comments, but go ahead.
I was going to say I wrote here in little letters, Drew, because you wanted that hope.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to see like such a big heel move for Drew. But I mean, it is what it is, you know. Hopefully
it is what it is.
We'll see. Maybe it'll come this year at some point. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not Dave, it's not going to be Lesnar. Don't worry about it. Especially now that Brock was like officially named in the lawsuit. They're not. They won't bring him back. Before, I still never thought he was going to come back, but he was never specifically named. But now that they released that, he's not coming back. WWE doesn't want that bad press. You know,
they can't have that bad press.
No. Thugonomics, John Cena, don't even. I'm telling you, if that happens, I will be feral.
I really hope we hear the Fear My Name heel track that he made. I hope they use that and we don't get fucking Def Rebelled.
No, I don't think they will. If we get it, oh my God, I can't. I'm sorry. My mind is scrambled over the idea of what we could get from a heel John Cena because you guys do not understand When I say that like my first real crush in life was John Cena, I am not joking. When I went to my first WWE show in 2003, in February of 2003 in Tacoma, Washington, I brought a sign, and it was the stupidest sign ever, okay? But it was literally like a hot picture of John Cena.
That's 2000s to a T.
Yeah,
That's
13-year-old
2000s
Sarah
wrestling
was
to
like,
a
what's
T.
the hottest photo of John Cena? Just like this picture in the middle, and then above it, like kind of arched, said basic thugonomics. And
that's incredible. I mean, I'm so happy that you got to use.
I know I got to see, it was the last time that, or the only time and the last time that Brock Lesnar was in a tag team match is when he tagged with the Big Show, and he was against Eddie Guerrero, and who should have been Kurt Angle, but they beat him up backstage, and John Cena replaced him. I almost cried because John Cena wasn't going to be on the show, and then basic thugonomics hit, and let me tell you, woo! So I'm telling you guys, okay, if John Cena does any of that, like when he did that at that WrestleMania against Elias, girl, feral.
That was awesome.
Absolutely feral.
Anyway, that was the Elimination Chamber.
Yes, that was Elimination Chamber. Thank you guys for showing up and being so active today on such short notice. Because like we said on Wednesday that we weren't sure if we were going to talk about anything, but if something big happened, we would. And then we just agreed on a time like a few hours before. So really appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah,
we had John Cena turns heel. You have to come on here and talk about it. I'm sorry, we could not just wait till Tuesday.
Yeah,
so I'm happy.
It's too much to talk about on Tuesday.
Way too much.
Yeah,
there's way too much. So we have to talk about this now. We'll get clips up, and then we'll be back on Tuesday. That's why you guys got to subscribe as well, because we got clips coming up. I work on the shorts. Sarah's got the other stuff. It's a team effort here. Help the team get to our own championship glory. You know, our own main event of WrestleMania. I know,
and then we're counting down to Mania.
I know.
And we're hoping to have like a ton of content from Mania too. So make sure you follow us on TikTok, because we'll probably post quite a bit on TikTok. And I did see Tom the Man followed us on TikTok.
Oh, good shit.
Yes.
Good shit, Tom Man.
Yeah. Tom. Was it Tom Man? I don't remember. It
was Tom Man.
Okay. Yeah, he's first chatted in the on the preview show. I saw that he followed us on TikTok. So I tend to post a lot of me talking on there because it's just easy for me to pick up the camera and talk. But because me and Pat will be together, we'll be able to do it. And then I try to post some show clips on there also, just to remind people that we're here.
We have a show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be doing a bunch of shit in Vegas. I'm so excited for that. So you got to subscribe, hit that bell notification to know when we post, when we go live. We also got an interview coming up an interview with someone on the Indies, someone in MLW. That's what happens. You know, we don't just do the WWE stuff. That's great. You got to represent everybody. We got that coming out soon. I don't know when yet, but it is happening. So be on the lookout for that and go follow MLW in the meantime. And we'll be back on Tuesday for the Raw Rewind. Raw Rewind. So thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you could do it. All you got to do is try. See you on Tuesday.